A question I've been asked many times. What is user research? Well, even after 2 decades, I still find this tricky to answer. I think it's helpful to begin by explaining where user research fits in. If your team is engaged in a user-centered design process at all, questions about the user are bound to emerge. For instance, what version would the user prefer? How do we organize this content most effectively for the user? Or can the user easily learn how to use this? And so on. Now, while it's good to have these questions, it's even better to have the answers. And that's where the user researcher comes in. So, user research, sometimes called user experience research, is the primary mechanism for bringing user information into a user-centered design process. User researchers work with teams to understand the questions they have and the information they need to make decisions. And then they plan and execute a way to gather this information. Often, this information gathering is in the form of user studies. Common types of user studies include interviews, usability studies, and surveys. After the information is gathered, the results are analyzed, summarized, and reported back to the team. User research is an eclectic discipline that combines elements of many subjects including psychology, sociology, anthropology, and statistics. User researchers can have many different backgrounds, but the social sciences tend to be the most common. It's natural for user researchers to work closely with other members of a user experience organization, such as interaction designers and visual designers. But as part of their work of arranging user studies, user researchers may need to communicate with practically anyone on the team, depending on the situation. User research tends to operate in parallel to development. Depending on the circumstances, they might work very tightly with teams or be largely independent, or anything in between. User research does require some resources to operate effectively. For instance, budget to recruit and compensate the participants of user studies, the physical space for in-person studies, and/or the tools to conduct remote studies. Some special software tools, such as survey tools or data analysis packages, are very helpful. And also, data storage on the intranet to host user research reports and associated session media is a need that's often overlooked. The costs associated with user research tend to be very small compared to the overall project budgets, but it's not zero. It's also common for user researchers to travel because the development team may not be physically located near a significant population of users, and it's cheaper to send a single researcher to where they are versus bringing a large number of users to the researcher. Overall, this answer only describes user research at a high level. Other important questions, such as what user researchers do in detail and why they're valuable, are covered in more detail in other videos.